What's up, guys? In this video I'm going to give you 3 hot tips. That'll be the thumbnail. 3 hot tips, maybe, we'll see, for not binge eating, how to avoid binge eating during quarantine. Okay, so these are going to be 3 hot tips that you can use to avoid binge eating during quarantine. Tip number 1, obvious, you guys all see this coming, I'm sure. Tip number 1 is to eat once a day, and I'll tell you why this will help you with binge eating during quarantine. This is one of the reasons why I personally eat once a day, not specifically because of quarantine, but because it prevents me from eating all day, because I love to eat, of course. But when you eat once a day, at night specifically, right? I like to eat at night. You've heard me say this many times. You wake up, let's say at 8 o'clock in the morning, you already know ahead of time that you're only going to be eating once a day. So you know that from 8 o'clock at night till, let's say, 7 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night, when you eat your meal, that's an 11-hour block where you will not be eating. So if you are not eating anything, then you not only rule out the possibility of binge eating, but you rule out the possibility of eating at all, right? And the more frequency with which you eat during the day, the more likely it is that you'll give into temptation and you'll start binge eating, right? I know this happened to me many times, right? Where I would eat breakfast, let's say, and then I would have lunch, and then after lunch, maybe I would want to have, maybe with the lunch I'd have like some diet soda, and that little bit of sweet, good taste would make me more open to the idea of maybe having a little bit of chocolate after dessert. And then maybe sometimes after I have that chocolate, or instead of that chocolate, maybe I'm really hungry, so I get some cookies instead. And then I eat all the cookies, and I'm like, well, screw it. I already ate a bunch of cookies. I might as well get some more cookies now. And then before you know it, the day just completely gets away from you, and you end up eating a lot of stuff that you should not eat. So compare that to eating once a day, where you know that all day you're not going to be eating anything. You don't have as many opportunities to make a mistake, right? And this is, to this day, why I still do this, and why I do it at night specifically. So I can get stuff done during the day and I don't have to eat. That's number 1. Number 2, this is going to be eating the right types of foods, I guess, right? So I have a couple favorites in terms of options for what I like to eat. But although I will say that it doesn't really matter as long as they are natural foods, right? Currently, I'm eating shakshuka, and I will make a video on how to prepare that and what that is and why I like it. But right now, I'm eating a meal that is mostly vegetables, except for maybe 7 or 8 eggs in the actual meal itself. So not a lot of calories overall, but it's a very large volume of food. And because it's a large volume of food, and it's technically not food that's going to, make me fatter, like pasta or something, or rice. Well, I guess rice is not so bad, but the point is to eat lots of healthy natural food, right? You can eat, I've talked about eating lots of meat before, talked about eating oatmeal and eggs, talked about having mainly egg yolks, and maybe some cottage cheese. But the point is to fill up on lots of natural food, right? A good rule of thumb is that if the world ended, like actually ended, not, fake ended coronavirus, if the world ended, would you be able to make this like in your house or in your backyard? Making rice is not easy. You need to like flood rice fields, and it's this like whole big deal, right? Could you make pasta? Maybe you could make actual pasta if you grow the wheat and you get actual wheat that's not enriched wheat flour, and you make the pasta yourself, but who's really going to do that, right? Whereas you could kill an animal, you could get some chickens and get their eggs. Kill an animal and eat the animal, I guess is what I meant. Anyway, the point is this. Number 2 is when you eat your big meal, or I guess when you eat your big meal, right? I guess you could do this throughout the day. When you eat, you want to eat mainly healthy natural foods. And the reason for this is the same as the first one, is because it'll prevent you from actually making a mistake, which is what binge eating really comes down to, is you have that first little thing, that first little sweet or something, and that kind of opens the floodgates. You're like, well, I already had a little bit of peanut butter, so I might as well eat the whole thing of peanut butter right now, I know all about it. So yeah, second one is eat mainly healthy natural foods. Not that peanut butter is not good, you can never have peanut butter, but it's not the best thing that you can eat. Super clear. Number 3, what were the first 2? Eat once a day, eat healthy natural food. The third one, this is, I would say, probably the most important one, and this is to have clearly defined goals for fitness in terms of like what you actually want to achieve. And the reason for this is because when you clearly define a goal and you clearly define what you actually want, you will kind of filter any sort of behavior or any sort of decision through a lens of, will this help me or hinder me achieve what I actually want to achieve? So very good examples. Let's say you want to achieve a certain look, you want to get ripped for summer, or you want to, an example I gave is that when in the periods where I've lived in Tel Aviv in the summer, there's a very strong beach culture there. I want to look good at the beach, so I'll be more careful with my food selection, and I won't allow myself to binge because I'm always got in the back of my mind, okay, I want to look a certain way. So set the goals clearly, I guess. Now, you don't have to, maybe for you, and you should have some sort of leverage over yourself, right? So I guess like 3.5 would be post pictures of yourself online, or post pictures of yourself in the snake diet Facebook group, or just post like progress pictures or something like that, or just pick a goal and stick to it. You could also do that. What's the next one? Fourth one would be, I know I only said 3, but I feel like there's another one. Oh, okay, last one is to exercise every day. So the reason this is good, the reason this will help you from prevent you from binge eating is when you exercise, it's generally not like a very pleasurable process, right? It makes you kind of uncomfortable. It kind of hurts. And yes, it is fun, sort of, but it's really kind of only fun when you're done and you've got that kind of like endorphin rush afterwards. While you're doing it, it's not actually pleasant, really. And it's downright, extremely uncomfortable if you do it after eating some food that's not very good for you. So it'll kind of increase the potential reward for exercising, and if it'll increase the potential punishment, I guess. Basically, exercise will make you feel like you're in more pain if you're eating unhealthy food, which is one of the reasons I believe why most people don't do it, is because they're running on, the fuel that they're running on is not good at all, and they feel kind of awful as a result when they exercise. Boom, baby. 4 super awesome tips, even though I only told you 3. How about that? You get a bonus tip. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, do you have any tips for not binge eating during quarantine? Maybe you drink lots of water. I don't know. Let me know. Oh yeah. Number 5. Well, okay, fine. Number 5, don't smoke weed. Really. Like, just don't smoke weed. Do something else. When you smoke weed, you get the munchies. All right. That's it. I'm done. Okay. So do you have any tips? Let me know. Leave me a comment. Peace.